So I worked in a range of different archives. They were all over the country, and but some of the best stuff I found was really happenstance. I mean, there are a few happenstance discoveries I made in the archives that I feel like I really couldn't have written the book without, and they were flukes that I found them to some extent. One of them came from being at the National Archives and just asking for more and more and more records, and kind of all of them had to be cleared by somebody in the back. This guy wasn't even an archivist, but eventually he came out and he said, okay, you seem to be really interested in all these things. We don't really have any of these things, but I do have this random single microfilm roll from, some moment when JFK said all agencies should microfilm all their records for some kind of record preservation. And it was kind of a partial undertaking. Some agencies did it, some didn't, none did it completely, but the Department of Justice has this one microfilm reel, and you're welcome to look at it. And I found things in there that were kind of the linchpin of the book, and I never would have been able to write it otherwise. So I think you need to. I think you really have to, when you're going out to the archives, befriend archivists, talk to people, and chat them up about your project, and be persistent, because sometimes the things you are going to most value are not going to be things you're ever going to see listed in a finding aid. I am already working on my next project, and it doesn't necessarily tie directly in, but in many ways this second book is inspired by something I found in the archives when I was working on the first book that just rung a little bell for me and set off a series of questions that have kind of tickled at my brain ever since. And so I just sort of set it aside as, maybe that'll be, first I thought maybe just an article or something like that would follow on. And once I started digging deeper, has grown into what I think will be a whole book project. So, their intellectual roots are certainly in the first one, even if the subject matter is not entirely the same.